Yeah, great. Usually, the sledgehammer, I noticed that is a little cheaper and it does the job just as good.
The
Maybe if you can,
screwdriver.
I don't know about screwdrivers.
No, I don't think so either because I don't know, catching on
it-
fire. I don't know.
screwdrivers do not work on SSDs, just so we
Mhm.
are aware, because it
Okay.
has different sectors, right? So you
Okay.
might destroy some of the
One little
data,
piece,
but
not
you,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So it will also might work. Okay, so all right, so let's get into the next one, Gladstone. I think it is number three. Whoa, whew, liking this. I'm liking this, guys. So unusual increase in network activity. Extremely important.
Absolutely.
So if you have some sort of CM, for example, a network intrusion detection system, or a Rhino Guard, which is a managed detection and response, you will see a behavior on your network. You see events happening all the time, transactions, millions of transactions per month, right, on your network. If you see like weird spikes or network activity increases in your network, there might be something happening, deployment of software tools, or something that is happening where the hackers are connected through a CNC to their hacking bots and they're deploying stuff on your network. So be careful on network activity. One way that we check for network activity is like connections to suspicious IP addresses, right? That is a telltale sign. So Gladstone, if you can actually go into the if you can show my screen, that would be great, because I want to show you a couple of tools that we use, right? So this is a virus total. So on virus total, you can always input the IP address of the connection, and they will tell you whether it is good or bad, right? So this is like a bad IP address, right? So we see here that 45.155, whatever it is bad, and it's being flagged by a whole bunch of engines, right? So once you see this, that's not good. That's not good. And if you have a connection that is established and it is consistent, this is this is definitely your network being exploited by hackers, right? So if you see, for example, disconnected connections, that is your firewall um, disconnecting these IP addresses, because the IP addresses is still part of their blacklist. Something that I want to point out to is that these are all the vendors when it comes to antivirus, anti-spam, um, what do you call it, engines, right? So you see that a lot of them have not caught this virus. So, for example, Bitdefender, ESET, Fortinet, they're all good with this, and Sophos, etc. But then you see things here like, all of these have not caught it. So this means that if you have one of these antiviruses and you get attacked using this IP address, your antivirus is going to go, okay, that's not suspicious
Yeah.
according to our library. So be careful with this, right? So that's why we tell them, like IT professionals and people, that use two antiviruses.
Yeah. Share the
Seriously,
information.
if like if you don't see a drop in performance on machines and your network because you're using, and they can actually play along with each other, right? So the interoperability is good. They can actually talk to each other and coexist. Then use two antiviruses, because if one fails to detect a suspicious IP address, hash value, domain, host name, whatever, the other one might pick it up and flag it, and then stop it from like abusing your device. Isn't man, this show is good, man. Really good advice. All right, so this is one of the tools that we use, and then if you go into the right app here, let me show you. This little icon here is the Explorer, and it launches the Explorer, and you can see, for example, this one is making connections to the states, right? So, and this is the bad IP address, 45.155, etc. Um, and you can actually see. And sometimes when you have really bad, what do you call it, malware, like ransomware, this is full of nodes from everywhere in the world, right? So that is this is another one, right? So yeah, the other way that we do it is by, let's say you see a piece of software inside of a computer, right? you can upload it um, to Intercer. Intercer is great. So analyze.intercer.com, right? So in here, it gives you a complete kind of a look of the virus. So for example, I uploaded this one, and I think I have it from my history because I do this like pretty much on a daily basis. You can see the TTPs. So, and this is really cool. I love this because it shows you the MITRE attack. So this is MITRE attack framework. And for those of you who don't know what MITRE attack is unbelievable, an unbelievable framework that you can use in everyday, and it gives you tactics and it gives you techniques, right? So, and in here, so these are the tactics: so reconnaissance, resource development, initial access, execution, persistence, privilege escalation, and so on, all the way to exfiltration and impact, right? So it is like a over glorified matrix of tactics that can happen. Because if I backtrack a little bit, you have to understand that hackers, it's not like you get hacked today and then all of a sudden everything happened at once, right? It's a chain of events. It's kind of like a Conti is a perfect storm inside of your network because they use first, there needs to be reconnaissance. So basically, the hacker, once they infect your computer, they need to kind of go out and explore the network to see what's out there. There needs to be resource development. So the hacker getting those files from GitHub or the cloud and then assembling scripts and throwing it in there. Then initial access, execution, persistence. So in this case, Ave Maria is a ransomware attack, and it uses three things. So share modules, boot, and log on. So basically, what it does is it changes it puts a little script on the startup, right? Changes the keys to your computer, and then even if you turn off your computer and you turn it back on, the virus is still there, right? So it will still be active, right? Impairs defenses. So, for example, disabling your Windows firewall, your anti malware, whatever you have, and then process injection, right? So it gives you the TTPs, it gives you the IOCs. So TTPs are tactics, techniques, and procedures, and IOCs are indicators of compromise, right? So indicators of compromise, in this case, you can see that is a web domain, also an IP address. It gives you the behavior, right? So this is the process tree of the files that are getting downloaded, the network activity, the changes in your like read. So it reads all of these processes, what's written, what's deleted, and it gives you so much information for free, man. Isn't this crazy? It's so much information. All right. So anybody has any questions, any comments? What do you think about this? This kind of stuff is like really exciting, man. Really exciting. Do we have anything else?
Yeah, we
Okay,
got
so
some
Diego
comments.
says, I think they're doing that in order to get attention. Maybe some government agencies can appreciate the skills and hire them for the good at the end of the day. You know what? Let me tell you a little story. I think it happened to, I think it was Twitter. I think it was Twitter or Uber. Um, One of the hackers was trying to get a job at this company, and it was flagged, and then he got arrested because he was applying to the company that he hacked previously. It was kind of crazy. So I know back in the days, they used to catch the bad guys, and then they would hire them, like from the CIA and FBI and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard about that, Andrew.
Of course, quite a few
Yeah,
times.
I don't know if
Catch Me
yeah.
If the famous movie of Catch Me with As You Can or whatever with Leonardo DiCaprio is based around that model. The Know Before, the gentleman, I think it's Know Before. I mean, I think he was a hacker before he became a globally recognized, a good guy. Lots of organizations have hired, but I guess you said in the past,
Yes.
because there's so much talent now that are legal talent. Let's put the bad guys away. Let's focus
Yeah.
on the guys who are doing good, not doing bad to get good exposure so they can get good jobs.
Yeah, you're talking about Kevin
Yeah,
Mitnick, right? Kevin
exactly.
Mitnick.
Yes.
He's
Thank you.
he's the famous hacker in 1980s, right? So he got caught. I think he spent a little bit of I think 5 years or something, no, 4 years, 5 years. It wasn't little. It was kind of substantial. And then he started working as a consultant, and he became famous. He's part of Know Before
That's
now,
right.
which is like cybersecurity awareness training platform and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that happens. I haven't heard. Maybe clan. You never know, man. And the dark web, and
Yeah,
this
I
is
mean, I think there's probably some cases of that for sure, because
yeah.
there's such talented individuals out there that are doing harm, that if they can, but again, we don't hear about it quite the same. It's not glorified quite the same as it was. I mean, but I'm sure it's still happening. I mean, a talented individual, good, bad, or indifferent, if they can leverage that to strengthen our posture in the good world, obviously they're not going to be,
Yeah. What
they're
do you
not going to
think?
shy away from it.
What do you think? Does anybody know out there if this is still a practice that the hackers are being hired, or they're just letting like companies or governments are letting hackers hack? And I mean, if they're caught,
Yeah,
what's going
yeah.
on?
I don't know
I'm reaching out to the community because I'm not. I
for
don't. I
sure.
don't know. I mean, I can't be an expert on everything, but I'm expert on a few things, right? So I don't know, and it'd be good to find out.
Yeah, for sure. If there's anything current or relevant, like that's not too long ago.
All right. So, Gladstone, can you put the next one on the screen? So I think I have a few in here. So programs requesting access. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Programs that are requesting access. I just like downloaded material and stuff like that. Also, funky things that are happening in your computer, right? So let's say one of them is your computer is gets all of a sudden really slow, and it's really slow, and
so
it's
it's
dragging the feed, and
dragging.
it's just non-moving. It's
That's
probably
a
some sort
problem.
of crypto miner in there, just sucking all your CPU and your RAM out of your drive of your computer, and then doing crypto mining. So that's another telltale signs. If you go into the processes on your task manager, and you see processes that are kind of wonky, that they don't make sense, or if you go to your startup and there's process or startup applications that shouldn't be there, things like that, I think that those are telltale signs as well. What is the next one over?
Number 5.
All right, so security programs and firewalls have been uninstalled.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a problem.
this happens very often. The first
Yeah.
thing that the hacker is going to do is he's there's a few things. So there's this first infection, then there is the escalation of privileges. So they try to get from user into admin inside of a computer. Then the next thing is disabling your defenses. So they will shut down your antivirus or EDR or whatever it is. They'll try to shut down your firewall, your Windows firewall, because then they can move freely through their, like a PowerShell or whatever scripts they're doing. So
Yeah.
yes, if you see that happening on your computer, even personal computers, I'm not just talking to IT professionals, but if you see that, even if you're running Windows Defender and you see that it's disabled for some reason and you never done that, it might be because a hacker just disabled it, right? So very, very, very good tip in there. If you have any questions, guys, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, just put them up there, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. All right. So the next one over. Change the default browser homepage, right? So if you create and this is usually a browser infection, right? So if you go into, let's say Google is your main browser, you
Mhm.
click on a new tab, and then all of a sudden it just changes to, and that doesn't look like the way Google usually looks. It's probably because there is something going on inside your browser. You have a low level virus that is going on inside of your browser. All right, next one.
Next one.
Computers functioning on its own. What do you think about this? Like I just talked about.
I don't know. I think someone would be in your computer if you see things happening and you're not touching it. That's kind of a problem. To me,
Yeah,
it's a red flag.
yeah. Like your mouse moves all of a sudden here.
What's going on?
You see it's kind of like screens pop up and then disappear. So like a
Disappear. Yeah.
script, for example, like like a command CMD screen, and then flashes, and then comes
Goes
out.
away.
yeah, it goes away. Things like that. It is definitely something to look for, right? So, and what is the next one? The next one is very obvious, guys. Come on, encrypted files and ransomware messages.
Message.
Obviously,
That's yeah.
once you see this, is the end of the game. It's definitely the end of the game. Your files, your servers, your computers can be, encrypted, and you see a little message that says, go to this Onion website, and then you can pay us, and like like crypto, and in terms of crypto, and then give you the money. That's really bad. That's the end of the game there.
Dan, I what you call it? It's funny because I just on Facebook the other day. So I saw an old college friend of mine that basically said, "Does anybody out there know how to? I've been hacked. I think I've been hacked on Facebook. What do I do?" So I mean, we talk business here, and we talk. You've been hacked, and there's all these measures in places with firewalls, and we have all these things in place with endpoint detection and emails and phishing attempts. And then we talk about our obviously the really, really important thing moving forward is our MDR, which companies need. But as an individual, someone who's watching right now that uses social media or their own personal computer, is there tips that maybe we can just kind of verbalize that what they should do if they see something like they're I mean, I know personally, with obviously changing your
100%.
password, letting people know it's but maybe just kind of throw that out there.
Yeah, I have that in store for you, buddy. Like,
Oh,
I know
beautiful,
we're
beautiful. I love
always like in sync. Our
you know what I'm
brainwaves, like,
thinking. You know what I'm thinking.
they
Perfect.
melt together like Star Trek, from my mind to your mind, kind
Beautiful,
of thing.
beautiful.
Vulcan, like I don't remember the actual name of that, but they mind melt. Yeah, mind melt. We're mind
Okay,
melting here, buddy. I have
perfect.
that information for you. So,
Wonderful.
Jason, show the screen once more, and then we go through what you can do to fix the problem, right? So before I go into that, I want to show you another tool that we use, and this is the Alien Bold indicators. So what you do is, this is the community. I love Alien Bold because they have a really good cyber security community, right? So if I enter, you can see here an IP address, and then I search. So I'm just going to click enter, and it's going to search for a lot of indicators. Let me see. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking upstairs, but if you do, don't mind her.
It's okay. It's our
And
new
this one
world.
doesn't.
It's a new world, right? We got dog barking. We have kids walking by. We have, you know, it's all good. Everybody loves the extra flavor. But in all fairness, we can't hear it, or I can't hear it.
Okay, it seems like it's not. There it is. All right. Okay, perfect. You see, I see two indicators in here, right? So this vbc.exe, and if I click on it, then it will tell me a lot of information: the certificates, the response codes. Still active. It gives you a 200 response code in there, and then people commenting. Let me see if I can. Integrations comment. No, there's no comments on this one, but a lot of times they do have um, comments in here. And your abuse.ch URL house has commented on this one. So these are different, and you can see different IP addresses that do the same thing, right? So when you have IP addresses, um, oh, it's Alexander says, I lost you on YouTube. Glad that you are here. Something happened in YouTube. Sorry, guys. I apologize for that, but something happened in YouTube. That's weird.
Thanks for the tip, Alex.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. But we're still on LinkedIn, right? So and Facebook. So if you see, for example, here, this is 95.214, then 193. So it gives you a lot of IP addresses that are related to the bad IP address that you can actually, like use in your intelligence, and then upload and blacklist all of these IP addresses because they all relate to the same executable, right?
Right.
So, yeah. And then I have another one. This is AnyRun. And what AnyRun does is you can upload a file, a malicious file, and it runs it on a real VM for you. So you don't have to use your own VLs, your own VM or your own computer, right? You don't want to run the risk of infecting your computer with bad stuff. So you can run it in here, and you can see how the process or the computer is interacting with the virus. And if you go on the right hand side, then you see, okay, so this is an executable, and then there was a process injection in there, right? Then a few things in here, for example, other processes that are being added, then other malicious executables being dropped. Because what you have to understand is that the software, the like the malware, it's usually going to call other software and install it in your computer to keep on going with their bad stuff, right? So yeah, so this gives you a lot of good information on what exactly is doing. So here is connecting. So this is a CNC is connecting to the network, right? And then this is known thread and so on. So AnyRun is really good for doing some forensics on your malware. Now let's get to what you can do. So this is a typical Word document with a macro, right?
Mhm.
So and people that don't know this, maybe teenagers or younger people, they know what to watch out for, but a lot of people don't, right? So if you get a document like this, you open the document and it says this document was created with another version of Microsoft, and you click on enable content right here, then definitely you are enabling a macro, and then it will get malware inside of your system, right?
Mhm.
It could be any deceiving message, so not just this one, right? But it could be like you need to install a plugin, or you need to click to enable the comments, or I mean the text, whatever to deceive you to click on the button. I don't know why Microsoft puts it like this, and it doesn't really tell you anything about it. Like, it doesn't give you like clues
Right, right.
on what's going on, what could happen. It just says security warning, micros have been disabled. That's it, right? So yeah, so it's not very um apparent, right?
Yeah.
What to do if you think you're hacked? The first thing is deploy a tool. Like, this is a really good tool. So this is the Kaspersky virus removal. You can easily deploy it, right? Well, the first thing before you do this, I mean, after you do this, is disconnect your computer from the network right away, right? So, or even before, like, that's the first thing. I mean, like, you see a lot of those memes where, if you have a virus, you just unplug the cable, unplug the Ethernet cable from your computer, and yeah, and your Wi-Fi should be shut down. So that's the first thing you got to do: isolate it from the network. Number one. Then you have to download this into your computer. So you're going to have to use your USB drive, download it into a USB, plug it in your computer, and then run the antivirus removal tool. Hopefully that's going to fix the problem. A lot of times it doesn't, because your computer has a rootkit, for example, and it doesn't matter if you use an antivirus removal, it's still not going to work, right? You also can run like
Deep
CC
cleaner.
cleaner is a really good tool for fixing register keys and stuff like that. So this one is another good one. For Kaspersky, I mean, they have a lot of versions of their Kaspersky removal tool. Um, so a lot of downloads, right? So in here, oh, I'm downloading the executable right now. Well, I'm using the Mac, so it's not even going to work. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Um, that's it. I think we got enough for today. If you have any guys, if you have any questions, just put them on the screen. I'll be happy to go through them.
Just a quick little Shangi says a little shout out to Mike Bendo. Good to see. Good to see you here. So I guess we have someone new actually who's joined us. So thanks for joining us, Mike. Hopefully you enjoyed the show.
Yes, and that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, just put them on the comments below and reach out to us, rhino.io. Go to LinkedIn, look for Rhino, sign up to our Purple Talk, and I hope to see you next week, Friday, 12 o'clock, and have a fantastic day.
All the best, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Cheers.